Cheers, Kev. Morning, Chris. How's things?
Morning, Rich. I'm good. You?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks.
Lockdown haircut, Rich. Lockdown haircut.
Short back and sides.
Who did it?
Got to make an effort, smarten up.
Who did
the
it?
wife.
Yeah,
Kate,
right.
did a good job.
Yeah, really.
Trust her. Now, admittedly, it's not the same in all families, but we'll go. Let's start with team news, because I know you're down to the bare bones. Is there any change ahead of this game?
We're down to the bare bones.
So there's no change?
No change.
If we can just briefly reflect on Sunday, is the overriding belief when you look at it, Chris, one of frustration, or do you see cause to be optimistic? Because it seems to me that, again, it's one of those games when you had opportunities to be in it.
Rich, we're playing Liverpool. Mane, Salah, Firmino, Curtis Jones, terrific young talent. Wijnaldum, incredible player. Thiago, two fullbacks. Andy Robertson, I think he's brilliant, by the way. Andy Robertson. Trent, playing Liverpool. The game between us on Sunday to the game last year was no different, apart from 30,000 Sheffield United fans in. They had opportunities to win in that game. The goalkeeper at the time made a couple of saves. We had a couple of opportunities to score, which we didn't take. Nothing's different. It's just perception, because we've got a few more points on the board last year than this year. Well, more than a few points. The game was no different, absolutely no different. And it's looked on through perception in that way. That's it. The majority of games this season to last season were no different, absolutely no different. Statistically, in my eyes, they were no different. But we defended better, and we took those half chances, more than half chances, and there were 30,000 punters in the ground. There's no difference. Honestly, it's ridiculous. I've analysed it. Can you imagine the amount of analysis that we've done? I'm not just, well, I can't play golf because I quite like golf, but I can't even do that. We've gone through everything, honestly. It's ridiculous. Some stuff that, as I keep saying, that we can control and we will take responsibility for, and I will take responsibility for, as always, because that's the way I am. Other stuff we can't. That back eight that never moved, that never changed. But the games are absolutely no different. And the game on Sunday to the game against Liverpool at home, where everybody's walking out the ground and going, oh, that was incredible. That was brilliant. We got beat by Liverpool 1-0, but what an unbelievable day for everybody. It's no different to that on Sunday night, where everybody who, so imagine, supports Sheffield United will look at it and go, oh, they are absolutely terrible. What a shambles they are. We're not. We're not.
And that's why I say, do you see cause for optimism? Because sooner or later, you have to plan for next season, whether that's through performing the greatest of great escapes in the Premier League or trying to bounce back first time.
Always, Rich. There's always short, medium and long-term plan. So, yeah, we, of course. Of course, that is determined by other people as well, by the way, that plan.
Are you able to expand on that, or...?
It's determined by other people, not me, because I know which way I want to take the football club. But
and
that's determined by other people.
Have you had those conversations?
No.
Do you expect to have them at some point?
I think they should be, but they're not happening.
Let's look at Aston Villa then, because I heard a lot of people before the weekend suggesting that without Jack Grealish, they're not nearly the same team, and then they go and beat Leeds. They seem to be doing pretty well this season, don't they?
Brilliant. Spent about 300 million over the last 4 or 5 seasons. A brilliant club, fabulous supporters. Went to watch them in the playoffs. It was brilliant because we got promoted in the Premier League to the Premier League and went to watch them against Derby. And unfortunately, unfortunate at the time because I think I was late. I was doing for Sky and got caught up with all the Villa fans coming into the ground at Wembley when they beat Derby, and it was incredible. And I think it's a brilliant club, a club that that is huge. I think people in football know how big Villa is, and I'm delighted that Dean's doing a brilliant job. And I was on the pitch. I had the pleasure of watching that game against Derby. Two great football clubs, and Jack Grealish got promoted with his hometown club, and Dean Smith managed his hometown club into the Premier League. And I'm delighted for Dean, and I'm delighted for Jack, because obviously there's a little bit of connection there in terms of myself and Sharpay. And coming in that way, got caught up in all the traffic. And I think it's a fabulous football club, a huge football club that's give it a right go. That if somebody's watch was turned on, something might have happened, but it didn't. And they've built from that and having a fabulous season. Great manager, good people in charge, and a fabulous group of players. But this is how difficult the Premier League is. Have a look what's happened at that football club over the last 4 or 5 years and how much they've had to invest in the team to have the season that they've had. Survived and built and moved forward.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to bring up, because you'll have heard the same rumours that I did at the end of last season, that if they went down, the managerial position could be under scrutiny. They stick with Dean Smith, bring in some extra talent during the summer, and look at the season that they've got now.
They signed good players last year. Everybody knew the players that they signed. Douglas Luiz, all the players that they signed really good players, and they had good players. And they had Premier League players in the Championship. Robert Snodgrass, Jedinik, James Chester, Sam Johnson, who was on loan, Tammy Abraham on loan. They had really good players. They have fabulous players in the Championship under Steve Bruce, and got to a playoff final. And then got promoted through Dean, had a brilliant run at the end of the season. Delighted that they went up, as I said. I've got a bit of a soft spot for them because I think they're a huge club, and what's happened with Dean and Jack Grealish. I think he's the best player in England, by the way, Jack Grealish. Hope he don't play on tomorrow night. Have another day off, Jack, and make your return at the weekend, not at Bramall Lane. And huge club, and they've give it a go, and this is how difficult this Premier League is. Produce fabulous young players, brilliant facilities, and a manager that's passionate about this club that's done great.
Final question from me, Chris. Not Sheffield United related, but you'll have heard the government's comments this morning saying they're going to back a World Cup bid for the UK and Ireland in 2030. Purely as a football man, what's your reaction to that?
You've said that because purely as a football man, haven't you? Because possibly if you'd not said it, I'd have said I'm not that bothered. But yeah, of course, like to not have to travel and maybe to watch some games in this country. So yeah, delighted that that football, as always, is recognised as something that everybody loves in this country, and if we can get it, that's great.
Thanks, Chris. Best of luck tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Morning, Chris.
Morning.
You've talked a lot about sort of bridging the gap in terms of the size of the clubs in the Premier League. Should football itself be doing a lot more so that you don't have to spend hundreds of millions of pounds to try and bridge that gap?
No, because it'll always be the same. It always has been the same and always will be the same. So nothing's going to change. And I don't think it should really. It's not American football. This is what it is. And and we have to accept it and go with it. There's always going to be the ones, the haves, and there's always going to be the teams who are trying to get in there. There's always some Cinderella story, isn't there? Over the years, you know, the Chelseas and the Man Cities and the Leicesters, their Cinderella stories, and brilliant for their supporters and their football clubs. And there's clubs that go the other way. So I just accept it and understand it.
But do you think that's fair?
I just think that's the way it is, and I've not really thought too much about it, Adam. Really, I just would quite like to be that Cinderella story.
Yeah, understandable. In terms of the weekend, you didn't want to big up Aaron Ramsdale too much after his performance, but does he deserve credit for his recent performances and the way he has stood up to his critics this season?
Hey, listen, we all get far too much credit when things go well, and we get far too much stick when things go the other way. And Aaron will understand that as much as anybody, as much as I do. So you deal with that in the way that Aaron will deal with it. He's a level-headed young man. I really like him as a person, not just as a footballer. And he's had to take some this year, and he's shown the right reaction, as we will always try to do. Show that right reaction to disappointment and failure and setbacks, in which he has. And there's no hiding place for Aaron, and he's done what he needed to do, which was work hard and produce the performances which we're all seeing now.
I found it interesting that Aaron talks about the fact that he lost his belief early this season, and now he's gained it back and he's enjoying his football a little bit more again. Do you think that's key for all your players to try and find that, despite the recent results?
Unbelievably so, Adam. You know, we would all love to be this big, confident, believing footballer, football club. But when you get the results that we've had, when you suffer defeats by the slightest of margins, when you don't take your chances, when you make mistakes, when your best players are not fit, you know, these all are things that impact on a performance. And individually, from Aaron's point of view, it's a tough gig for him to come in, and when the team's not going well, as it is for all the young players, because we were expecting to do better than what we did, and Aaron was expecting for that 5 to be in place and the 3 in front of him to be in place, and not making mistakes in front of him and making the saves that he would have to do. What happened last year that the goalkeeper who played for us did. And to pick more points up, and this to be a lot more of a comfortable season for us. But it in, and that's what happens in the Premier League. And you come under scrutiny, you come under criticism. You have pundits that haven't got a Scooby-Doo about your football club, that make stupid, silly, uneducated analysis of where you are as a football club, and you have to deal with it. Like I said, we've all had the praise, and we have to take the negativity that comes with the results and the responsibility that we all have to take when you don't win. So, but we'll take it, and Aaron's took it. And he's done what he needs to do, which is bounce back and produce good performances.
Rian's not featured for the last 3 games. Are you hoping to try and get him more game time between now and the end of the season?
Yeah. He will. That's a decision by me. So I know Rian's frustrated at the moment, but that's a decision that a manager has to take on the inside of a football club. knowing what's best for the team, what's best for the football club. Everything I do, by the way, is the best for the football club, not personal, best for the football club. And the decisions I've made about Rian have been for the best of Sheffield United.
Can he do anything else to influence your
thinking?
No,
same as Aaron. Keep working hard in training. Opportunities will come his way, and he will take them, because he was signed by everybody, all of us. We all signed him. Put a presentation to the board. Board ticked it off, and he's a good player. England under-21 international, and he's a good player. It's been a difficult start for his Sheffield United career, but he'll come good and he'll score goals. And as we all will, we'll look at this period with a lot of disappointment. But on reflection, we'll learn. We will all learn, and we'll all move forward, and we'll all be better with it.
In terms of Villa, who you got next up, lots of talk around Watkins and Grealish and Traore. You've already mentioned what you think about Jack Grealish, but does a lot of their improvement owe to their defensive record? It's now 13 clean sheets this season. Only Man City have conceded fewer goals on the road. Quite impressive statistics.
Yeah, you've got to get both parts of the game right, haven't you? You know, you've got to stop that ball going in the back of the net by not making them silly mistakes that we have done this year, that we didn't do last year. And you've got to stick the ball in the back of the net the other way that they have, and they've got them players to do that. So, as I keep saying, the bit in between, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, however we play, gives you an opportunity to dictate the game. But like I said, our shape last year when we played Liverpool was exactly the same as our shape this year. But let's change the shape. Let's go play 4. Let's do this. Let's play 2 up front, whatever. This is how we play. But the 2 boxes decide the games of football. And they've been great in keeping the ball out the back of the net. And a lot of credit should go to Dean and John Terry and Rich and Craig Shakespeare and all the people there. And at the top of the pitch, they've got those players that can win tight games. I think Dean will possibly say the same. Maybe there's not an incredible change in terms of the way they played from last year that this year, as we're talking about from last year to this year. But they've got both boxes right, and obviously we haven't.
In terms of the reverse fixture, the John Egan red card, the Matt Targett lack of red card, the John Lundstrom penalty save.
The game changes, Adam. The game changes.
Does that sum up your fortunes this season?
The game changes. The decisions change through the season. Chelsea penalty at the weekend. The game just changes. That decision, a week later, somebody else made the same decision and he didn't get sent off. Then down the line, another decision and Matt Targett gets sent off. The game changes. And everybody will say that. The game changes from Lundstrom's tackle at Brighton to Jayden Bogle being out for a month for not a reckless challenge. That's what absolutely does the people in football's head in. And it does my head in because I'm in football. And that's what happens. And you've seen it. You guys have seen it. Punters have seen it. Players have seen it. Managers have seen it. It changes all the time. Just changes. Oh, what's happening? It's handball. The one at Southampton, Tottenham, Doherty, when it just hit his hand, penalty. I think Tottenham had one against them as well, another one. And then the one on Sunday. Was it Sunday, Saturday? Sunday, Chelsea, Man U?
Yeah, Chelsea on Sunday, yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll change it. We'll change that decision now. And they've never had as many people helping them out. So you might as well just go back to one person doing it, in my opinion.
Well, I was going to ask you your thoughts on VAR after 18 months. You've just answered it.
Have you got an hour? or 24?
Has it improved the game though at all? Is it something that football should stick with and keep improving?
Not for me, but I've not got a big enough voice to change that. But there's still the same situations that are happening, aren't they? Even more confusion. I've never been as confused as a football manager in the last 20 years as I am this season, and I think everybody will feel the same.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck this week.
This is a lively one, isn't it?
How are you?
Ian?
I want to ask you something sad first of all. Ian St. John has passed away this morning. He'd have been someone that you and I, growing up watching St. Egregious. I just wonder if you've got a few words about.
Yeah. You just go through this process, don't you, where people come to the end of their lives, and an incredible, talented football people that we grew up with. Yeah, definitely, Ian. So yeah, sorry to hear about that. Because obviously, yeah, you're right. That was our football fix, wasn't it? On a Saturday, St. and Greaves Day, and yeah, gutted for everybody.
And I've got written down next. Any advice for Darren Moore?
Big Moro, you're putting our friendship at risk. And my mate, Wayne Jacobs, who I played with and I've known since I was 12, 13, playing for Sheffield Boys, who's his pal, who'll most probably go in with him at Sheffield Wednesday. You're putting our relationship at risk. What are you doing?
Sorry, do you wish him luck?
That was the hardest text I've ever sent to anybody last night. Big man, where's my phone? I'll tell you, I'll show you the text I sent him. What are you doing to me, mate?
Did you really send him a text?
Of course I did.
I thought Sheffield United, Sheffield. I was even worried about asking that question at Sheffield.
You don't know what was in that text, though, do you, Ian?
No, what was in the text?
It ain't going to be pleasant.
Right, I want to talk about your future, because you early on, I thought you were quite cryptic about your future when you were talking to guys at Sky. You going to be at Sheffield United next season?
I don't know.
Sorry to be so blunt about it. I just think that at the end of the day, it seemed absolutely certain. Yet last couple of weeks we've been chatting. It seems I'm feeling less certain about it.
Yeah, well, listen, head down onto the Villa game and see if we can get a result, Ian. And what will be, will be.
But you want to stay, don't you? I mean, you want to get back up again.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, if we stick to the plan.
Cool. You also mentioned pundits not having a Scooby-Doo this season. Do you feel you've had a bit of a bad run with them?
No, not really. I think they've got every right to criticise me and the players, because we took an awful lot of credit last year. So maybe us doing as well as we did last year as sort of not being the how can I say it? You don't turn results down now, do you, Ian? You just keep going and you keep winning games of football. And us getting into the top 10 was an incredible achievement, and maybe something that when you look back on and reflect was bigger than maybe people talked about it at the time, because how difficult the division is. So you have to take both things in the same way. So you do, but I do think that there is quite an uneducated feel and look about us when they compare us to other football clubs and where we're at to where other football clubs are. So that's my only slight complaint. But as the pundits say, we have to all take responsibility, and I will take the biggest responsibility for our performances, stroke results this season.
But you personally and your team, I mean, as you rightly said, results dictate everything. But you as you keep saying week in, week out, you're not getting thrashed by everyone. You know, you're losing by 1 goal here, 1 goal there. You know.
Yeah, that's. But this is what I was saying in about last season. We won games by the odd goal, or drew games by the same situations and same scenarios. It's exactly the same. The performance against Liverpool, we would be expected to get beat on Sunday against Liverpool. I don't think anybody thought that, oh, that's an home win. Everybody's thinking that that's Liverpool, the players, regardless of the run, they might cause an upset. They might cause a shock. But things have got to go right for them. Goalkeeper's got to play well. They've got to defend as best as they can. And when the opportunities come around to score, they've got to take them. It's the same in every game, or the majority of games. We're not expected to win. We weren't expected to win last year. I did something yesterday and went through all the games last season, the away games especially, and tight game at Palace, 1-0, goalkeeping error. Everton were better than us, smash and grab. Brighton, nothing in that game. We score 1-0, defended great, nothing in that game. Norwich, we were down. We had a turnaround at half time. We won that one. I'm just thinking, Bournemouth, they were better than us first half. We were better than them second half. We got a result. Chelsea, they smashed us first half. We come back. Exactly the same sort of games. But the end bit is the stuff that's really hurt us. And that is through, which I've said, continuity, consistency in selection. The other bit makes a huge bit of it, in my opinion. And at the top, the last bit is the hardest bit, and we've not done that well enough. The bit in the middle.
You and your team have added so much. I mean, listen, realistically, you probably are going to get relegated. You and your team have added so much to the Premier League. I mean, your team have, for battling away last season. You're probably the most honest manager to speak to at a press conference in terms of calling things as exactly as they are. So,
Ian, I'm not going to change regardless of my view on the football club, regardless of my view on the players, regardless of my view on myself. I'm not going to change. So, I've been on all the coaching courses on the pro licenses, and you have to straight bat it, and you have to, do this and do that. But it wasn't my intention when I came into this division to do that. It's not been my intention right away through my football career. So I'm not going to change now at 53 and wherever I am and whatever league I'm in. I'm not going to change regardless of my views on it, on everything. And people comment on it, and if they think it's all right, then cheers. And if they don't think it's all right, then that's all right. I'll accept that. And if football clubs don't think it's all right, then that's up to them. But this is how it is. And like I said, we've had a glorious period in the football club's history. Glorious, brilliant. Really enjoyed it and been part of it. And there's been a lot of lovely things said about us. And now you've got to accept the other bit, and which we will do. But we have accept it together. That's the big thing.
My last one, and I'm not going to labour the point because we jousted about it earlier. Again, you just said wherever that may be, when in terms of your future going forward, are you yourself thinking about maybe greener pastures?
Nothing surprises you in football, Ian. So, like I said, there's you just get your head down, you reflect, and you just work away. Things change in the game. We all understand that, and you just crack on with it, and I'm cracking on with it, and trying to do as much as I possibly can to help those group of players that I still believe are giving everything for the football club, and that will continue to happen.
Cool. I'll pass your regards on to Darren Moore as well. Good to see you.
Take care, mate. Cheers.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Paul.
You said you'll be here providing the club sticks to the plan. What's the plan?
Well, the plan, as always, was to leave a legacy, to change things off the pitch, which need changing, and stick with the players that we've invested in, and add a couple, and trying to bounce back. So as simple as that.
Are you confident you can keep the group together?
Yep, 100%.
Have you had assurances from the owners that will happen, or is that the group saying to you, we want to be here?
I know the group, I know the players better than anybody, so they'll want to be here, and they owe it to the football club to be here as well, because we brought them in, we gave them the opportunity, they took it. It's obviously been a disappointing season, Paul. But as far as I'm concerned, the character of the players was something that is obviously key to when I was bringing the players in. They understood the situation. They weren't signing for a top four club. They weren't signing for an established Premier League club. They were signing for a club that knew that day in, day out, it's an incredible challenge to play well and to stay in this division. And unfortunately, it looks like that we won't be, but we'll still give it a go right the way through, and see what happens, and see if we can get some more points on the board. But they will. They're contracted to the football club as well. So the football club's in a good position. They've got a lot of young, talented players that unfortunately have not done enough this season, but will take confidence the season before that they did. But for one reason or the other, they've not done this year. That will be a strong group if the inevitable, what people are talking about, happens.
Is it too dramatic to say, Chris, that the club's reached or is reaching a crossroads in terms of the future direction?
It's a tough gig to be involved in the Premier League, as you know, and as we talk about Villa. And I'm not trying to put any pressure on Dean, because it's a fabulous football club, but Villa, Brighton, Newcastle, Palace, West Ham, I think if you dig a little bit deep in terms of where they're at their football club, they'll tell you how hard it is. Villa, like I said, have spent about 300 million, and that is not a blasé shout at things. 300 or 400 million over the last sort of three or four years, and already had players that had been relegated from the Premier League and kept to try and get into the Championship. The couple of games that we had under Steve Bruce and Dean, when they were trying to get back up, they've always been that sort of in around that situation. And, we'll get criticised for maybe a signing that's not gone as well as it maybe we would have liked to. But I think if you look through the sort of business that Villa have done, it shows you how difficult it is to compete and what they've done and where they were last year. And they obviously had a great end to the season and have took that on. And they signed good players last year. Everybody knew the players that they signed last year were good players. Douglas Luiz was a good player. Consa was a good player. Tyrone Mings was a good player, really good. So they all knew that the players that they had, Matt Target, all the way through. The team that we played against in the Championship under Steve, Snodgrass, Jedinek, Scotty Hogan that we had signed for 12 million from Brentford. All the other players, Wesley, Codger, they've had some really good players. Ross McCormick, going if you go back over like 3 or 4 years, Matty Loughton come from us, so they know how difficult it is, and underneath it, had a really good Cap One academy, and and had really good facilities as well. So, you know, and then to survive on the last day of the season and build from there. So it is difficult. It really is difficult. It's difficult as a manager. It's difficult for players, and it's difficult for owners.
Final question then. You talk about the gap, and you did talk about the gap earlier. What can you do, though, physically within your power to try and close the gap? I'm not talking about the gap to Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, but some of the other clubs you've mentioned who are lower down but are established Premier League clubs. What can you do as
just big investment in the football club? Big investment. That's. I think Pep said it the other day, didn't he? Why a Man City at the top of the at the top of the tree? Why? You know, what did he say, Paul?
Well, they've got money, haven't they?
And not, no disrespect, not TC Harrison round corner or Cantors. Remember that? Cantors turns your house into a home. Remember that? Used to sponsor United in that kit that we had when we played at Darlington. Cantors turns your house into a home. That was on Queen's Drive, wasn't it? Queen's Road, wasn't it?
Queen's Road, yeah.
Queen's Road, yeah. Or House of Barrington, official teams to top. I bet not a lot of Sheffield United fans know about that, do they? Or the young ones.
See, we could have done a whole thread on favourite adverts.
TC Harrison, when they were driving cars round the pitch at half time.
Remember that? I do remember that. You could win one now and again as well.
Yeah. So it ain't them now. It's a little bit more than that.
Top man. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
We're going to the Scribblers. We'll embargo this until 10:30 tonight. Shieldsy.